Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. I don't know about you guys, but what it feels like's happening right now is Donald Trump is taking the lead and running with it. I mean, we've been saying for a while that Kamala Harris has been fizzling out. Slowly but surely, it feels almost as if her campaign is just melting in the sun. And I've said a bunch of times I think the honeymoon is over, but today, now, it really feels as though the honeymoon phase for little Kamala here is over. And honestly, I think even Kamala Harris is starting to get that. Kamala Harris at her most recent rally admitted that she's, quote, now the underdog in this election.
This is going to be a very tight race until the very end. We are the underdog, and we know we have some hard work ahead.
Kind of interesting considering the last 2.5 months have been a celebration, as if Kamala Harris cannot be beaten, the savior of democracy. It feels like slowly but surely reality is starting to kick in. It feels like the ball is finally back on Donald Trump's side of the court and everybody can feel it. And that feeling is likely to be exacerbated after Donald Trump's most recent rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, which was, just amazing. So this might truly be the end of Kamala Harris's little media honeymoon period. Let's have a conversation about that, or let's really try to make that point. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so it seems as though the Kamala campaign and even Kamala Harris herself might be feeling a little bit dejected these days. I showed you guys the clip earlier where Kamala Harris claimed that she's now the underdog. We've also got this clip right over here from Trump War Room. They posted this video of Kamala Harris looking quite dejected as she walks off her plane. And they added the caption, "The pressure of her failing campaign is finally getting to Kamala, who appeared distressed as she arrived back in DC last night. She had spent the day in Michigan, where she held an event at a fire hall to celebrate an endorsement from firefighters, which she failed to get." Maybe we're reading into her body language a little bit, but honestly, I think the Trump War Room might have hit the nail on the head. She does look distressed, she looks totally dejected, and she also was expecting a firefighter union endorsement, which she never got. Take a look at this press release from the IAFF. For immediate release, statement from IAFF General President Edward Kelly on the executive board's decision to not endorse a candidate for US president. Today, the IAFF executive board, by a margin of 1.2%, voted to not endorse a candidate in the 2024 presidential election. Over the past year, the IAFF took unprecedented steps to hear our members' views on the candidates and the policy issues that matter most to them. The rest of the statement is kind of reiterating the same thing, but this is shocking. This is unprecedented. More labor unions are ditching the Democrats. It's one union after another. The simple fact here is that Kamala Harris, or at least her political campaign, is in total freefall mode. Billions of dollars in campaign ads and press. The left-wing mainstream media has essentially donated billions of dollars of airtime to essentially campaign for Kamala Harris, and it's all falling flat. It's unbelievable. She's doing poorly, and I'd say that's an understatement, especially in respect to recent historic trends. And what's happening on the other side, Trump is outshining Kamala Harris big time. And I'm not just talking about his most recent rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. All of it. Kamala Harris is looking as if she can't keep up with the rigors of a campaign schedule. She frankly seems to be struggling. Meanwhile, Trump's just doing great. The man's freaking breaking the internet with some of these clips. Kamala needs billions of dollars pumped into her campaign to make a little bit of movement online. Meanwhile, Donald Trump does it with nothing. He just shows up and speaks and goes viral, essentially taking over the internet. Talk about outshining Kamala Harris. She's been an utter disaster on this whole Hurricane Helene situation, doing fancy fundraising events with celebrities. Then once the backlash started to pick up, her and her team went into damage control mode. Their response? Photo op after photo op. For Pete's sakes, at one point, taking a photo of Kamala Harris looking as if she was working, pretending to write on a blank paper while she's on a phone call, all intense looking, but her earbuds weren't even plugged into her phone. Totally pathetic stuff. And now we're seeing Democrats talk about the political calculus relating to the effects of Hurricane Helene on voters. I played a David Axelrod clip in the previous video where he's essentially gloating about the fact that people in rural North Carolina communities might not be able to get out to vote because of the devastation that they've suffered due to that natural disaster. That's what the Democrats are doing. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is having moments like this.
Say it.
Are you concerned about disenfranchised voters in Georgia?
I'm not thinking about voters right now. I'm thinking about lives. And to be honest, it's much bigger than anything else. But we're thinking about lives. A lot of lives lost, a lot of people missing. And that's what I'd be focused on right now.
And that moment alone amassed tens of millions of views online. He's simply outshining her, regardless of all the media attacks. And of course, on top of that, we're getting peak Donald Trump, even better than 2016 moments like this one.
I think I'm going to stand. This chair is the most uncomfortable chair I've ever. First of all, it spins. And the one thing I don't want is to fall on my ass, because that will be the only story. They'll say, sir, you did great. Too bad you fell. That would be the only story. So I'm not sitting in that sucker. I think it's a booby trap. That was put there by Kamala.
And so frankly, it just feels like Trump's doing the thing and Kamala Harris is struggling to gain any momentum. She had a freaking head start. They tried pushing her to max speed. They tried escorting her directly into the White House, but the momentum is totally fizzled. She just cannot keep it up. And Trump, well, he's stealing all the oxygen in the room, like he tends to do. I think it might just be happening, folks. Donald Trump might be the first person in American history to win 2 elections in one election season. It took him a couple months to sweep the floor with creepy, sleepy Joe Biden, and possibly around the exact same time to possibly sweep the floor here with cackling Kamala Harris. The CNN analysts are already ringing the alarm bells.
I think that this sort of gets at a problem for Kamala Harris's campaign. Just 28% of Americans think the U.S. is on the right track. And I want you to put that into perspective, right? When the incumbent party loses the election, look at that. It's just 25%. That looks a heck of a lot like that 28%, right? That currently think the country is on the right track. When the White House party wins, i.e. Kamala Harris's party, the Democrats, 42% on average think that the country is on the right track. This 25% looks a lot more like this 28%. It doesn't look anything like this 42%. This, to me, is a bad sign for Kamala Harris's campaign. The bottom line is it looks a lot more like a loser than it does like a winner when it comes to the country being on the right track.
Can an incumbent party win with numbers like this?
Yeah, so if we look historically speaking, right, and we say, okay, say the U.S. is on the right track, the incumbent party, when they win. Today, again, it's just 28%. Look throughout history, right? 96, 88, 04, 12, 84. In all these instances, far more than 28% thought that the country was on the right track. 39 was the lowest back in 1996. We got upwards of 47% in 84. Of course, that was a blowout, right, for Ronald Reagan. So there is no historical precedent for the White House party winning another term in the White House when just 28% of the country thinks that we're on the right track. John, simply put, it would be historically unprecedented.
And the election forecasts are starting to shift. Trump's now leading in Pennsylvania, and that's some seriously bad news for the Kamala campaign. We got Trafalgar polls, Emerson polls, Insider Advantage polls showing Trump with healthy leads pretty much across the board in swing states. It's getting right back to the point where we were in early to mid Trump versus Biden polling data. We're getting right back to that point, and these numbers might be severely underestimating what could happen on election day. The Kamala campaign is fizzling out into irrelevancy, and Donald Trump is frankly popping off. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. That's my analysis as of right now. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.